My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Hello, my curious friend. Welcome to the show. Today we shall be exploring treading cautiously, or maybe proceed with caution. Now, people live their lives in a multitude of ways, and I have really noticed that there are those that kind of cautiously move through the world, and there are those that seem to leap before they look, and then there are those that have some sort of harmony within there. I'm curious to explore this for you, and I'm curious to explore where you tread cautiously, where you leap, and everything in between. So one of the greatest ways to start looking at some of this stuff is often to go back, and look at how were you raised? Were you raised in a way where you were asked to proceed with caution? Did you have, what do they call it, a helicopter parent? Was there someone in your life that was constantly telling you to be safe, be safe, be safe, be safe? What's the underlying point of view in that? Well, it's that you're not safe. You're not innately safe. So then you have to work to create safety. You have to rely on things to create safety, or rely on you to create safety. You have to build up safety because you're not innately safe if what's being projected at you constantly is be safe, be safe, be safe, be safe. Now, as a parent, I'm a parent of two amazing young boys, and you go and you baby proof your house, right? Because you have these little people come into the world and they're just this little ball of magic. But that little body, eventually, it starts to move on its own, which means you can't control everything. And there are a lot of things that an unaware toddler can do to harm itself. One of the things that we believe as a parent is to keep your child out of harm, right? You don't want them to fall down the stairs, break something, hurt themselves, or worse. So you baby-proof your house. And even with the baby-proofing, there will be times where somehow that kid is going to find something to fall onto, to smack their head with, to harm themselves. And so it can, for some, become this interesting contraction around your child's safety. Now, not making any parents wrong, but if you looked at this from your point of view and you're learning about how the world works, okay, at these very young ages, you are adapting, you are this sponge, and you're pulling in all this information. And the information is that you are going to harm yourself, that you can't be trusted, and that the world is not a safe place. By no means am I saying just throw your child to the wind. That's the leap before you look kind of thing, like, oh, whatever, they'll learn. And for some parents that works. There's so many different parenting techniques. That's not what this particular podcast is about. It's actually looking at where we adapt these belief systems about the world and about how to make choices from a very, very, very young age. Now you get older, maybe you were the one that went and asked out your crush and they said no, and you were like, whoa, I was rejected. Oh my God, I read the signs wrong. Oh my God, I can't be trusted to make good decisions. My decisions hurt me. Maybe you had a terrible marriage. Maybe you got divorced. Maybe like all these different things come up, right? And we decide these things about ourselves. We decide in these particular places where we need to be cautious. Not more aware, which is a different thing, but we buy into caution as though that will create safety, security, and health. So have you in any place in your life, it could be financially, maybe you had a parent that spent all the money and you decided, I'm never going to do that again. So you're very cautious with how you spend your money, when you spend it, where you spend it. Maybe it's in a relationship, maybe it's with your body, maybe it's with trying new things. Where do you function from caution? And where have you resisted? So here's the other side of the coin, right? Some of us went into resistance of caution and we were like, no, I'm just gonna like blindly leap into everything and never ask a question about it and just stumble along. And we make that right. We make that a right way of functioning and not concerned with what will I create with this person if I just say all the things that are in my head right now? What will it create in my life if I spend all this money and rack up my credit card? Neither of these two different poles are from consciousness and awareness. Do you notice that? So what does it take to function, to choose to start to create from consciousness, from awareness? That's to actually ask questions, to be willing to choose and get it wrong, to be willing to mess up, but to be present with it and to ask questions and get curious. So I never tell my kids to proceed with caution. I ask them, can you be aware? Or can you expand your awareness right now about what your choices are creating? Oh, okay, cool. Very different perspective. So look at maybe one place that you're proceeding with caution, or maybe you're not even yet proceeding. You're just there trying to baby proof your life before you proceed. Maybe you're trying to baby proof your business before you actually launch it into the world. Maybe you're trying to baby proof your creation or your friendship before you allow it to become something more. Okay. So now how much of your awareness do you have to cut off to function from this cautious point of view, this need for caution? How much doubt are you using to slow yourself down? And how much do you have to judge yourself to keep you never truly knowing what you actually know? Because here's the thing, is that you probably already know a lot. Not from conclusion, but from those magical wisps of awareness we get whenever we explore our own consciousness, whenever we approach something with curiosity. So you could actually start to ask some questions. What will this create? And you might not get a cognitive response. I'm not asking you to be a fortune teller, although I bet some of you have that capacity. But to truly look at, does this space expand? That which is more expansive for you, if you choose those things, you're going to have a more expansive life. If it has a contraction to it, if you choose those things, you're going to have a more contractive life. It's actually really simple. That cautious thing, to create the caution in your world, you have to create doubt in yourself. You have to create a stillness in your awareness. Woo! And what else are you creating for yourself when you proceed with caution rather than awareness? Now, if you have spent a lot of time doubting you, doubting your knowing, this might be a little bit of a practice thing for you to actually practice proceeding with awareness and willing to choose something and see what shows up, rather than, okay, I need to know exactly what's going to happen. Then I'm going to choose it so that it's this nice, controlled, baby-proof choice, right? You know, if you completely baby-proof everything perfectly, that there's very little chance that much hurt or upset is going to occur. But how much energy are you avoiding upset? How much energy are you using to avoid upset, to avoid hurt? Now, one of the basic things here is to truly get that no choice is actually wrong, that you are not wrong, and you're also not right, though. You can't make right choices. You can't make wrong choices unless you want to function from polarity. If you want to function within that limited reality of polarity, then you're absolutely right. There's right choices, there's wrong choices. And if you proceed with enough caution, you'll probably get more right choices than wrong choices. My guess is, because you're here listening to my show, that you want way more than a reality of polarity, because you're curious. You can have a reality of possibility instead. And in a reality of infinite possibility, there's no right and there's no wrong. It's every single action, every single choice is a greater exploration of possibility and awareness. So if you choose to rack up your credit card, then you're going to have a whole bunch of awareness. That's the difference. So let's say you just went for it and you leapt before you looked. And what I mean by that is you didn't ask any questions and you went and just bought some big purchase and it's on your credit card. And now you're like, oh, geez. So that moment after you made that choice, step one, don't judge you. Don't make it right and don't make it wrong. Don't justify it. We'll do this little story in our head and we're justifying, yeah, but I had to do it, or, well, I don't want to live my life that way, or we're justifying, or we just avoid it and we're like, no, it didn't actually even really happen. This pretend credit card over here doesn't even exist, right? Get present with it. Just be with it and lower your barriers and look at it for a minute. Okay, cool. So what did this create? Is my life getting greater? Is it getting more expansive? Oh, actually, I have this like sense of contraction and stress in my world now. Interesting. Curious. Okay. So what would it take to create something greater? Don't look for the answer. Just ask these questions and look at what energy shows up, what awareness shows up. This is proceed with awareness, because before you choose something, before you take the action, during the action, and after the action, you're proceeding with awareness. You're proceeding with question, which allows you to keep pivoting, moving, flowing in all the different directions. It's going to create the greater life and living for you. Which is also different than the blind running off into the dark and just, hoping you don't fall on your face. And for some people, they have the power of luck and they work really well with that. But they also might have a sense of awareness that they don't cognitively know, and they naturally follow that stream. Okay, so don't make them wrong and don't make the cautious people wrong. No one's wrong here. It's just a choice of how would you like to function. So when you notice yourself like, ooh, you stop, maybe it's even, you go to text someone, right? And you're like, oh, here's a good one. So maybe you went on like your first date and you get up the next morning and you go to text them, and then you stop and you're like, oh, wait, maybe I'm supposed to wait like a few days. Like, should I wait a couple days so he doesn't, I don't want him to think that I'm like needy, or that I'm like too into him. Because if I'm too into him, then he's probably going to lose interest, like all these other people lose interest. But like, I just kind of did want to text him. Well, I could text him just, and see how this thing comes. You're trying to predetermine everything so you can proceed so cautiously. This is you literally baby proofing your text. You're trying to figure out like exactly what's going to occur so you can control the future. Oh man. What if you didn't, how much fun is it to live in a baby-proofed life? Truth. How much fun is it? Because it's not fun for me. I love not knowing what's going to show up, not from avoiding or cutting off my awareness, but from the curiosity of, oh, I wonder. So what would it create if I texted him this morning? Oh, that's kind of light. What kind of text would I like to send him that would create a greater possibility? Oh, cool. And on and on and on and on. But you see, if you bought something about this caution thing, like you locked it in and you made it right, this might be really difficult for you. And you might have to like look at this and get vulnerable. Is this truly a space of living for you? And maybe it's not like doing it in all the places, but where can you proceed with awareness rather than caution and rather than unawareness? What is it for you to be aware, to function from awareness? Explore that. What is that for you? Notice those times where you're just really aware. And I'm not talking about like hypervigilant, like adrenaline rushing, that's a really cool capacity that we have when we require it. But I mean, just actually relaxed and truly aware. You're aware of your body. Getting in your body is a great way of getting more present. So really occupy the space between your body and expand your being out in every direction and be truly present. And it doesn't have to be serious. And it does not have to be significant. Significance actually will take you out of awareness. So no significance for you. And look at what choices can you make without the energy of caution, that underlining point of view of, oh, I might fuck this up. Oh, I might make the wrong choice. Oh, I might. All of that talking and churning and all that stuff, just push it away. It's not even yours. So what would it take for you to proceed with more awareness in every area in your life that you're willing to have it? Even with purchasing, like say you're going to purchase a house and you're like, oh my God, this is a big choice. This is a lot of money. And you want to proceed with caution. So now you've made using money, creating with your money where it's not safe because you might run out. In fact, you'll probably run out. So now you have to be extra cautious. And I don't want to mess up my life, and I don't want to lose this, and I don't want to lose that. And do you see this moving through with this cautious point of view? If you go underneath those layers, what have you thought about life? That it's not safe, that you're not safe, that you make bad decisions, that you have to really think things through? What is going on? Now that energy of caution might be an awareness. Wait up. This is not, you could be your awareness going, something's not right here. That's different. That's not proceeding with caution. That's an awareness. I call that my little like awareness antenna went up. Like if I was a cute little alien, you know, like, something's off. Very different. So anywhere you misidentified and misapplied your awareness antenna for a danger sign or a caution sign, would you undo all of that? And explore what's underneath. Explore what's underneath all of this for you. And that's where the gems are. That's where the insanity lives, that you can undo that insanity and you start to function with this piece just gone. A lot of what we do in this world, in our lives, is to learn how to cope with what we have rather than undoing what limitation doesn't work for us anymore. And then moving on with it completely gone. It's just gone if you're willing to have it go. So all those places where, so you look at that caution, you could break it down. So I proceed with caution with money. And then you're going to have your justification will probably come up right away, because I once lost a lot of money, or because my parents were terrible with money and they always spent their money, we were always poor. Okay. So then you decide you need to be cautious with spending money. Okay. But now what's underneath that even? So what have you decided about you in this? What have you decided about you in this? I actually really love, money and wealth building and exploring that. And I listen to billionaires talk about money mindset and millionaire mindset and all of this stuff, right? And a lot of them talk about those kind of being able to make quick choices. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Now, if you proceed with caution with money for the rest of your life, how slow does your wealth have to grow? Now, but again, that doesn't mean, because sometimes we go, okay, I'll just do the other side of the coin. I'll just like throw my money anywhere and use it all up and don't worry about it. And credit cards and lines of credit. And let's go, let's go, let's go. Well, that's not functioning from awareness either. When those millionaires, billionaires are going, yes, no, they are choosing from awareness. Not all of them. Some of them are choosing from, stuff that they've learned, their experience, right? But awareness is different every moment. It's only good for that moment. So what you would choose here, maybe in relationship, you wouldn't choose in your next relationship because it's different. Or the next day because it's different. What fun can you actually have proceeding with total awareness? And awareness and knowing are fast. They are yes, no. It's not, okay, let me think about this. Like, let me really think long and hard about what these choices, like what they're going to create. That thinking is not awareness. Thinking actually takes you out of awareness. It's a hamster wheel we go on. You can only think what you've been, like what you've already learned this lifetime. And so that's why the thinking wants to predict based on things that it's learned. That's not infinite possibility. That's not like to have something show up that you've never experienced. You have to go beyond thinking. You have to go into your knowing. Knowing is infinite. Knowing taps into the oneness of the universe, and you can explore any possibility far beyond thinking. And it's that quick. You could ask yourself, what do I know about this? Okay, what do I know about this? What am I going to choose? And just choose. And when you choose, whatever shows up, whether you've decided what shows up is what you wanted or didn't want, it's an awareness factor. It's not a right or wrong meter. In fact, take your right and wrong meter. Maybe you just want to like go recycle it or, you know, throw it in the garbage or something. Proceeding with awareness, proceeding with knowing is to know that you do know and that you cannot fail and you cannot mess this up, because every choice you make will grow your awareness. It will grow your consciousness. It's going to expand your space of being and give you more access to more universes. How can that be wrong? And yeah, along the way, there might be some upset from people in your life or from you. It's okay. You know, use your tools for upset and keep going. Keep exploring, keep asking questions. And if this brought up a lot of intensity for you, maybe you noticed like some shaking in your body or some concerns coming up, I'm going to ask you to actually ask your body to relax. And then I'm going to invite you to look at, did you pick up this vibration from someone else? You know, going back to that toddler, right? That toddler, that some toddlers crash into everything no matter what. Okay, they just do. or they will find the one thing somehow in the house that you're like, how did you find that dangerous object? Like, a dangerous object is a pencil, you know? A dangerous object is essentially, it's like everything of life past age 10 is a dangerous object. The playground can be a dangerous place if you look at it that way. So if you were around someone that felt like the world was a really dangerous place and you grew up around them, you will have tapped in dynamically to that vibration, and you might think that that's yours or that it's you. But is it though? Is it actually you and yours? I sometimes see people that they function from this proceed with caution until they're like, maybe they're on a holiday or they go out for a night and they have a few drinks and then they're like, oh, I can just unleash, I can just let go. And sometimes in that letting go, because they're so used to functioning unconsciously with the caution, then they function unconsciously with the letting go. What if you could let go all the time? And that didn't mean you were uncontrolled on dancing, you know, topless on a bar, unless you want to, and that's okay. That could be really fun. But what if your life became that space of vacation, that space of letting go, that space of, oh, I don't have to hold everything together. I don't have to contract my entire universe to make sure that I'm not messing up. And here's the thing, if you don't make yourself wrong, it is harder for other people to make you wrong. So if you do something at work and you try something new and your boss comes at you and they're trying to make you wrong, but you're not making yourself wrong, you don't align and agree with them, you don't resist and react to them, you can say, oh, wow, I'm really sorry, I wasn't aware of that. Thank you for letting me know. It will drop away so quickly. But if we're making that a reality, if we're going, oh, yeah, that's awful, I messed up, and then they're going, oh yeah, you messed up, you actually solidify that and create a new reality. But if the one other party is not aligning and agreeing, oh, wow, that's what that created? Oh, interesting. Oh, and what is possible, I wonder? Thank you for exploring this topic with me. Again, relax. When you relax your body, you're telling your body, you're telling your systems that you're safe. And if this brought up some intensity for you, this podcast, I would highly recommend listening to it multiple times and relax through it. And as you're doing that, you're actually letting go of these energies and these points of view, belief systems that aren't even yours. So you can have a more conscious, more curious, more aware filled life and living. I'll catch you next time on the next episode. Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?